Sir, are we going live right now?
Yes, sir. I'm a, what I did, I just requested you right here.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, boom.
You can see it.
Perfect. Oh, yes, sir. And we are live. I want to
Yeah.
thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of the People's Podcast. We have an amazing guest with us on Off the Record this afternoon, one who's going to give us some powerful information as well as inspiration. Brother Stephen Muhammad, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. It's a pleasure to be on the People's Podcast, man. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. All to Allah.
Yes, sir. The honor is ours. Well, the first thing we want to know, sir, is as someone who I'm from Naperville, Illinois, who played football and wanted to go to Notre Dame, but didn't work out like that. You know what I'm saying? To play football. So I have a passion for
Yeah.
sports. And when I saw your wife constantly posting, you and the youth of Los Angeles, California doing some the positive things, but especially the football that stuck out to me. How did that get started?
Well, in 2009, I took my son. I played football. So when
Okay.
my first son, he was like 4 years old, and I was looking at him, and I said, "Man, it's time to get down." He was 4, which I wouldn't do it that way again. You know what I'm saying? But he was 4, so I took him out. And when I got there, they didn't have. They only had a 6-year-old team. So I said, "All right, my son can get down." And put him on the 6-year-old team. But while I was out there, but keep in mind, I'm a zealot. I'm insane about the nation. And while I was out there, I just observed all the people. And keep in mind, I turned my back on sports as a part of this.
Mm,
I turned my back on the observation of it. I turned my back on what it had been in my life and all of that. And
mm,
so realized the minister ran check and all of that stuff, and little by little, I based on some other and coupled with some other conversations, I realized, first of all, my son's about to play football or do something. He's not gonna stay outside of the community. So when I got out there, I just looked at all the people. I said, man, there's a lot of people out here. I said, yeah, we need that. You know what I'm saying? I came home and I talked to my wife and I said, what you think about us putting together a youth program? That way we're not just talking about the youth. It's an actual program. And then over time, as I analyze it, I'm an analytical person. As I analyze it, I said, well, look, if we get exposure to hundreds of children over time, we'll share the way with them. We'll win over the community. And that's exactly what happened. And when I looked out there, I said, yeah, we're going to do it. And then we rushed into it. That very next season, we was on the ground, nation title. We didn't win nothing, but we was on the ground. The Muslims laughed at me. The Muslims laughed at me, but we was on the ground running. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
sir.
that I knew then. I talked to the laborers. I took a whole plan to the laborers again. So let me double back to that. I didn't think of it unilaterally or like, hey, I'm about to start focusing on football. Everything, there's nothing that I do at all that doesn't have the intention of having an impact and to bring a return to the nation of Islam. Nothing. So I talked to the laborers. I presented a plan to activate the relevant ministries. At that time, remember, if you can remember, we were coming out of deliberative dialogue and the restructuring of the nation, 9 ministries, all of that. And I was a part of that. So, but I also noticed that it was kind of slow to kind of, how do we actually do it? So I found a way to actually involve those ministries. And even though it didn't really work out like that way, that was the plan. So when we put it together, I knew then that after it got going, I told them that they could play for free. I started off with, it's very expensive if you know anything about football. Very, very expensive. I should have chosen basketball. You know what I'm saying? 6 people, some jerseys, and a ball. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
chose football, one of the most expensive things, right? But what we did is we said, okay, boom. The people came and we said, don't worry about it. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan paid for everybody. So we
Mm,
let everybody come on, you know what I'm saying? We had a couple hundred people. And that was a tactic to bring people into receipt of something from us. So, hey man, I signed up with the Muslims, man, and You know what I'm saying? My son playing for free. Y'all paid $300 over there. Y'all paid $450 over here. We playing for free. You know what I'm saying? With the nation. Oh, so we did that. You get it? So we did that to have an imprint in the community, and we did it. And as we, started to kind of learn the ropes of the youth football game and all of the Black Power stuff, I was learning how to teach the teachings and how to make boys be FOI without the religious attack. And at that time, I was trying to familiarize myself with a technique that would allow me to say, okay, look, we're the nation. And even though you don't know it, the pride of the Black community stands on the shoulders of the Nation of Islam. Before us, we was down flat on the ground. It don't matter, I don't care how you cut it, no mystery about it. It's an uncut truth that everything, if you think you tough now and you're willing to tell people how you feel, you got that from the nation. You know what I mean? If you think you're in love with the, you know what I'm saying? If you think you like the Black Panthers, then you got that from the nation. If you think you got knowledge yourself, then you got it from the nation. If you're not scared of white people, then you got it from the nation. You know what I mean? If you're trying to do for self and you committed to, like, you meet entrepreneurs. Well, where did you get it? You got that premises from us. And I'm the product of a mother from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street all my life growing up. I grew up going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and my father is from Memphis. So if you understand Memphis, you understand the intensity and the caliber of how serious those men are about everything. So when I took these to the football program as a program for us, an outreach program for the nation, and I had to take it serious. And I wanted to make sure that even though I didn't know exactly what to do to make us be at the top, then I would learn that as I went along. But the first thing I learned was we won, I think, 2 games. We had 6 teams, 210 children, full schedules for everybody. And I think we won 2 games. Yeah, we got beat up, but we were brand new though. So everybody laughed. We lost a lot of players because we were losers. But by Allah's grace, I'm not a loser. So I was committed to it, brothers and sisters. So initially we had like J8, who is the first officer in the Western region now. That brother was with us, you know what I'm saying? He came out, was banging, was coaching with us. And brother Joel, my wife, was right with me, had the sisters drilling, had the little girls teaching them how to drill. We changed the, when it came time for cheer competition, we looked at it and we said, dang, the skirts is real short, you know? It was like, nah, we ain't gonna be able to do that. Not like that. So we changed our uniform to make it dignified and respectable. And my wife was in charge of that, and she was teaching them the drill, and all the premise of the MGT. And then we had brother Hadari came out with us that first year. So I'm just naming the Muslims that in the initiation of it responded because they saw the vision and understood that this type of imprint was necessary in the community. Tank, brother Duran came out. He coach. Tank didn't come out to coach. Tank came out to see what was going on, and then to take a screwdriver. You know what I'm saying? He was helping me put face masks on and all of that, and he brought us a couple of babies too. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, so Tank came out, and just a few of the brothers and sisters that respected me, and you know what I'm saying, and understood that I ain't really never playing about nothing, and they came out and supported it in the initial year, the inaugural season. And what I learned from that season that is important is consistent dealing with the community is something you have to prepare for. So remember, programming is the way you actually get your point across. A talker, a minister, a person giving speeches is the setup for a program. Like the mosque. The mosque is a program. You come there consistently. There's a schedule for it. It doesn't miss. You know what I mean? A store is a program. You open up a store. Oh yeah, every day we open from these hours to these hours. So when it comes to actually trying to get our people to accept changes, remember, when you walk up to somebody talking to them about religion, unless they're an orphan, that's why the orphans are important, but that's a separate category. But if you walk up to somebody that has a family, confronting that person with contrary ideas from what their mother taught them, from what their grandmother taught them, that's a longer process. It's better to let them exist with you And then what we always say, in the clean glass next to the dirty glass, it's just, it happens naturally that they'll start picking up the ways and picking up the program. You say, well, no, don't do that. Or calling you for advice along the way in every aspect of your life. If in any city, if you start doing anything where you're dealing with the lost founds regularly, if a man is with his wife, he'll call you on the three-way. Yield to vibe of superior wisdom from the Muslim that he knows in his life. It'll happen guaranteed. A mother who has children is going to call you, ask you, would you let my children go with you and your children? This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is how we win it. This is how we win the battle, the war.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you understand what I mean? So as that was happening, as I was learning some of these things, how do I, you got food going on and all that. They said, well, dang, bro, Steve, we want to do this. Nah, bro, we got a Bible diet. So I took the time to make sure that I didn't want to spook them early, talking about Islam and the Quran. They already knew what I was, and they knew what the brothers was. They knew what the program was. But I used to tell the brothers and sisters, it's a Bible diet, bro. You can't eat pork and all of that. It's going to hurt the children. They're not going to perform well, in the context of sports. They're not going to perform well. So then little by little, we consumed them with that. And so now everybody knows no pork, no this, no high fructose corn syrup. Those are not the snacks approved by this program. We can't eat this, we can't eat that. So all of that is happening in real time with us as we try to implement our ways for the benefit of the brothers and sisters in the community. And it really works. It takes, now, I will tell you this, bro. It takes effort. It takes effort. That's why ain't nobody doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's strenuous, but that's it. That's where the jackpot is. You know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna need help because it's not the same as fishing with a line. Fishing with a line, one fish, one man, y'all fight it out. Once you cast a net, though, brother, you got all the people in the net, then you need help working with a big net. Otherwise, you'll fall in it. You know what I'm saying? You get tangled up and trip and fall yourself, and you know what I'm saying? Fish getting away. But in actuality, the net is, illegal in some places because it catches all the fish. A net will. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And programming gives you a net. So many minutes, anybody in any city that's trying to, trying to get the ranks expanded, trying to get more people to accept themselves, do it through a program. I'm telling you, that is what starts a legitimate conversation where the people say, oh, okay, yeah, I understand now because I've been coming here over and over. Same thing as going door to door.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you're not going to go door to door, you better figure out, if you want to face Master Prophet Muhammad and figure out why you didn't perform, you better say, well, I know I didn't go door to door, but I figured out a way to make everybody come eat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when they came, I started teaching the teachings. You know what I'm saying? I started spreading the wisdom that you spread going door to door from a tactical standpoint.
Yes, sir.
So that happened, bro. And of course, you could imagine, some people didn't like it, but it didn't matter at that point because the people that didn't like it wasn't doing nothing. You know what I mean? You're not doing nothing. So,
yes,
wouldn't play. I don't know what you mean by that. Everybody I know plays sports, is encouraged to play sports. Sports wasn't around in 1400 years ago when the Quran was written.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't play. You know what I mean? Is karate sport and play? No. It's athletic preparation. Teaches you a bunch of things. Most of the people I know that do martial arts, they don't fight in the street. But they're being physical. You know what I mean? They're being physical and they developing a mentality to fight resistance and to exercise their will over another person or another circumstance. Yes, so when you look at, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at all of that, it's a very important thing. And it was important that we had an imprint, a cultural imprint in the community that, hey, I don't know about all of that. The Muslims got my son and he's better for that. You know what I'm saying? The Muslim, yeah, you feel me? The Muslims have my daughter. I don't know what y'all mean. I know them. Most people don't know us because there's no opportunity to really get to know us. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about every day for 8 months out of a year, you're with these people. And they get to learn, they know, and they say, oh yeah, I understand now. You're right. You're right. You know what I'm saying? You are absolutely right. My son needs to do this, or my son should do this. My son should talk this way. My son shouldn't say nigga, bro. We produced a generation of babies that came under my actual team, the team I actually coached, that don't call themselves niggas, bro, and fight over that. The way we did it is that if you, after I initially laid the foundation about the N word, if you used it, then we had to get down. Get down. You know what I'm saying? We can circle it up and get down. That's it. Bottom line. Yes, you know what I mean? And then and after like a month, bro, I would come out. The babies was lined up, teaching leadership. They lining themselves up. These 9-year-olds, you know, lining up, ready. Hey, brother Steve, we need to circle it up. This brother don't. He used the N word. He don't respect himself. I was like, is that right? I said, give me 4 witnesses. Then the brothers came out. Brother Steve, he said that. Brother Steve, he said that. Brother Steve, he said that. Then I asked the little brother, you don't respect yourself? You called yourself that? He said, yeah. I said, okay, you got to get down. We gotta love each other, bro. Get down. That's it. Lock up. Boom. And the baby started locking up. Then they all hugged. So these were all things that we was doing to just try to, in our environment. That might not work everywhere. In LA, it works. That get down is going to work in LA. And that program, but just dealing with this program by itself, that program, bro, got so big. So we nothing year 1, right? We're the laughing stock. They laughed at us. Okay. Laughed at us. Then we became champions. Then we became champions. Then we had 4 teams in the Super Bowl. Then we went around. Then we went nationwide with it. You know what I'm saying? And we became like in the top 5, bro, of youth programs in the United States, recognized all over the country. So by then, we're the first to do custom uniforms. Now keep this in mind too. You got to carry the nation a certain way if you into it like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to do what I feel the minister would do if he knew what I knew about what I'm doing. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I know that the minister wouldn't come out looking weird. You know what I'm saying? Like he might not trip off top, but like if you explain the context of it for right now on the streets with the youth and all of that, well, yeah, the uniforms matter. Absolutely. Yeah, we're the first ones with the custom tearways, the custom 4-way stretch with the plastic and the fabric. Then we was the first with the with custom helmets. I'm talking custom helmets. This how my soul make me carry the nation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I ain't with the nation moderate. I ain't with that. I'm not with it. Oh, the nation just like them, or we mixed in. Maybe we'll come in 3rd or 4th. I mean, we could, but it was never my plan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I never intended to come in 3rd. I thought we were gonna win for the nation. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We did that, and you know, I mean, like we really set a tone in youth football that was not there at first, and that came from the nation. That came from our nation, from the minds of members of the Nation of Islam, and we did it. You know what I mean? And it led us to everything. It was nothing critical that happened in the city during that time that did not involve us. If you talk about major killings of gang figures, their sons played for the Nation Titans. You talk about Ezell Ford, that family is a nation family. Ezell Ford that got killed by the police, Big Ezell, a major figure out here, his son is from the Nation Titans. It was a bunch of things that happened in the streets here that was connected to the program. So now if you take that and coordinate it correctly, then we get to engulf all of that. Do you understand? Yes, we get to engulf the families during sorrow. But keep in mind, the sorrow was the moment we was waiting for. Islam come when everything what?
That fails.
Yeah. So a part of our tactical get down has to be, yeah, you know, I'm here with you and I'm offering you something good. But if you're not taking it, then I'm also waiting for the failure to come. But the good part about the failure is that we didn't cause it, we didn't do it. But what we are here to do is take you to the light. But you have to be in position to seize that opportunity. You can't take pot shots at it. That's not, you out of position for that. You're not in the right vantage. You don't have the right vantage point to seize the opportunity. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. So on the football side, bro, we did that, bro. Allah blessed us, bro, to really, really do that. We stuck it out. We traveled with the children, you know what I'm saying? And we didn't travel fake. We traveled first class. We took them in limousines. Like we redid that. You know what I'm saying? The nation did that. And children are touched by it. And mothers and families are touched by our effort to give them something superior and to make them feel good about themselves.
Praise be to Allah. You have a lot of comments. I'm coming to you, the love in the comments, but I want to first ask, what made you? Because I played sports, basketball, YMCA basketball, and of course football in high school. But when we won a season where we won like 5-10. Then we won all our games. The Young Guns, shout out to Young Guns, they real. Then we went and played. We bossed up after high school. We had to play against some grown men and lost all the games.
Right.
And I was crushed, man. My dad came, my sister. I was just sad. What made you keep going after losing?
Well, I'm built for that. I ain't tripping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't, I'm serious. Look at me. I'm serious. I'm with that. That ain't. I know that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Especially day one. Also, Allah blesses me. I'm a visionary. So, like I was telling you before, I can see a vacant lot and put something there.
Okay.
I can the concept of the nation. Even though when I came to the Mosque, I thought the nation was already cracking. In terms of, I thought they had their own hospital. I just didn't know where it was or something. You know what I mean? I thought they all. You know what I'm saying? Like But when I got there, it didn't turn me away. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, okay, I dig it. We got to still build that. I'm with that. I get it.
Okay, yes, sir.
I understand. You know what I'm saying? So what people that laugh, when people, if you're, now keep in mind, if you're committed and your zeal is there, then everybody laughing at a loser is the one that's weird, and it indicates that, because you don't even laugh at losers if you really know what's going on. When you see somebody lose, you don't laugh because you just don't know who that person is. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know one thing, that they out here competing. They out here making an attempt to do something. And that's not really funny to achievers. Achievers recognize that as, okay, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? What you need to do now is, when every year, my son, we go to the Junior Olympics, I'm looking for children that we beat before, because I want to see their progress.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
Yes, sir. Look, yeah, you feel me? You look up and you say, hey, man, a guy we had trouble with beat us in the prelims. Okay. Yeah. Things are changing. You know what I'm saying? So what it was yesterday is not what it is today. And that is something that should be the basics of a revolutionary. The whole point of being a revolutionary, bro, is that you are changing the world. And if you thought that was going to happen easily, or you thought that you weren't going to lose a battle here, lose a battle there, lose ground after you gain ground, well then, what did you think it was? If you haven't studied, have you studied the same situation in other cultures and other parts of history?
Yes, sir.
So that's all it is. And when you look and you say you lose all the games, damn, what's going on? The coach got to take responsibility off top. I definitely take responsibility for Super Bowls that we did not win. That children was definitely tripping, but it's my responsibility. You feel me? But it's my responsibility. It's on me. And then you look and you go give you a good coach, gonna go pick up new pieces, right? Like, hey, who you got? Oh, yeah, it's a new dude I brought in. Okay, good. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple more pieces to, you know what I'm saying, to help make what we have gel better and give us a higher level of play. Same thing with the Mosque. That's what you got to do. Hey, what's going on? What we got going? You got Allen Iverson on the bench?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? But if but if you're concerned with progress, then you sifting for the capabilities of the men and the women. And you say, okay, good. Let this person move forward. You know what I'm saying? Let this person take these ideas and move forward with them. Now that is the same thing on the team. No difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Same thing, bro.
Okay, excellent. And speaking of that, I got a quick segue. Speaking of the team, what I learned in sports, especially football, helped me with drill. So I want to make sure I give a special shout out to, I implemented everything I learned in football to Chicago Junior FOY, then came to Atlanta FOY. Shout out to the Avengers, my drill team, and all the years that we had. But I gotta give a special shout out to the MTS Los Angeles Mosque 27 Junior FOY, which your sons drilled and phenomenal. But special shout out to the son who was a DI, because I'm gonna be biased. DI's gonna sit together. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So how did that come about?
Bro, first of all, let me say this, man. Brother Marquise, Brother Salih, Brother Fahim, Brother Joel, Brother Mike. I mean, like all the parents and stuff that got around. But those brothers, the commitment to the children in the spirit to say, well, wait a second, let's not cut any corners in terms of what we established in their minds about what the men of the nation was willing to do for them. That part was important for them to grow up saying, man, I remember when I was little, the brothers did that for us. You know what I'm saying? Everything was A1. Everywhere we turned, every place we stayed, the way we ate, the way we moved around, all of it A1. The time they took to teach the drill. Now, Salih, being consistent, doing the yeoman's work, he's on deck every day at the school, making sure that the practice is happening the way it's supposed to happen.
Yes, sir.
Then you got Marquise, who I really low key, like, he's very special. You know what I'm saying? I want to use a word to say that, like, it's not average. You know what I mean? Like the way he thinks about drill, the way he, but genetically he from Valerie, Sister Valerie. So she's a notorious driller, and his sister, like the family gets down, right? So the way he taught the children, the way the drill was implemented, and keep in mind, he wasn't even gonna be there. Are you up on that part? So he taught it and shook. He had something else to do. You know what I'm saying? He deposited the message in the children, and we kept them fired up and kept them enthusiastic and kept them aggressive, and boom, we had that. Now, if you look if you look at that drill, if you look at our flag man in the back, waving the flag like crazy, if you remember him, bro, he's not in the nation. But what he is he's with us. He's at the MUI. So see, the point is to bridge the gap. Yeah, all praise is due to Allah. The point is to take what we have and expose it to our people. The year before that, bro, it was some people on that stage that y'all gonna see are very special people that came from the program because they down with us and they're learning. So the effort from the young brothers with support from me, support from Captain Halim, you know what I'm saying? Like it set the stage for this focus and commitment on them. And that's what we got to make sure that they receive, so that at the end, in the mental framework and accounting of the Nation of Islam, personally, they'll say, yeah, these are the reasons why I personally love it. Sure, you love the minister, sure, but you have your personal experiences.
Absolutely.
Say, oh yeah, because you can tell people can easily put a partition in their mind about how they feel about the minister and how they feel about the get down. But if we can make the get down, if we can make the minister, the way we feel about the minister and the get down mesh, if we can make that line up, then now we got the whole thing. And the children have to be able to say, that's what the fruit did for me. That's how I know they're solid. That's how I know that the fruit is the best, because of how I was treated, because of how they took care of me. That's how I know how to be a father, because of what I experienced with the men who belong to Islam, you know, in my city. Very important.
Okay.
And that team is also an example of us dealing with the generational warfare. So you got me there, you know, the youngsters know, you know what I'm saying, how I feel, but I work well with them. You know what I mean? And I don't argue with the youngsters. I tell them how I feel. If I know the crash gonna car, I tell them in advance. If I know they're gonna crash the car, I tell them in advance. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there too. I'm here. I got the ambulance. I'm ready. I scoop up the pieces, and you know what I'm saying. But more important is I'm here, and older brothers in any city, stop arguing with the youngsters. What you do is you share your insights with them, and you support what they're doing. Then, as you walk with them into the endeavor, inevitably they're going to run into some of the trouble that you discuss, if you're thorough like that. Now, if you're not really thorough in that field or whatever, I don't know if you know what you're talking about, then a young person gonna bump into the adversity of it. And when that happens, then you're right there. You're not there to say, I told you so. You're right there. I saw it. I'm ready for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? I knew that was gonna happen. I got you. But your plan is still excellent. I'm here. Let's move forward. Let's make some adjustments. And that's how you work with the youth. So that's another thing that's happening. When you see the youth in LA, that's another important thing that's going on in that, is that, hey, older brothers and younger brothers are working together. And that's a conscious thing.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, well, speaking, and I see all you all's comments. Let me read some of these comments. My sister Mimi says, "Assalamu alaikum, brother Ronnie. Sadiq says, praise be to Allah. Big Drew says something like, Larry says, Aisha K. Says Naeem, Mrs. Jalila, Mrs. Maria Shabazz, Sister Aaliyah says, of course, your wife. Some people showing love in the comments. Thank you all very much for continuing showing love. Okay, so in the city of Atlanta,
love all of y'all.
All across the country, we got people. You have men who were inspired by what you did, and we want to do something. So I got my nephew coming up, right? I got some other people coming up, and then you got people in every city. What's the first step to establishing a program or something we're passionate about to do? Like, what do we do? Like, how do we get down like the nation type?
Well, number one, if you want to do it, I'll come out there at my own expense. If you're talking about a program, if you're talking about a personal program where you're trying to make some money or whatever, that's your own hustle. But if you're talking about if you're talking a program for the nation, that on top of doing whatever we're doing athletically, but it's designed, it's a tactic, just like the Catholics have taken all of our human resources for their benefit through sports. And if you say, well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to involve ourselves with controlling the human resource of the youth. That's an honest investment because 99% of them will not have anything to do future-wise with athletics in terms of playing. But if we broaden it out into business and other approaches of management and other things, then that group could yield fruit in terms of what they were prepared to do from children to their maturity and education. Now, so if we do that, I'll number one, you got to look at what you're trying to do. You have to assess all, and that kind of takes more, you kind of got to have an eye for what's going on in your community. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Because the approach is different. Now in LA, for instance, you're not really gonna do nothing without being aggressive. You know what I'm saying? I got to come on the scene, and you got to make decisions. Like, I'm from the nation, hardcore from the nation. But then when I deploy myself into the community straight up, then it's certain decisions I had to make. Yes, sir. No, sir. The polite get down, that's all one, it's a part of it. But then there's a place where that's not a part of it. What's mine is the nations. This area is the nations. And that's what it is. and that's it. And players from other organizations are going to come here, and that's going to create friction. So remember, whenever you're in a city and there's no issues, that's because you don't have anything. But the minute you draw a boundary of any kind, buy a property, say that this square is yours, well then, it may just wait right here, because there's going to be a problem, because somebody's going to step into the square. Somebody's going to come into your area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to assess all of that to determine exactly what you're trying to do. Because being passive about it, like, hey, we just got a football team, that's one thing. Nah, bro, we going for the ship. We got to have it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Two totally different get downs. You know what I mean? There's two totally different approaches, two totally different time requirements. Same thing with the mosque. What's up with your mosque? Y'all trying to have 10,000 people be in the mosque? You know what I'm saying? At the meetings? Bro, that means almost we got to do it like a job now. It's like really 12-hour days. You know what I mean? Building up that type of an attraction. But it could be done. But that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to draw up a real plan and do it. So it's a lot to it, bro. But initially, you got to have money. And let me tell you this. If you represent the nation, bro, don't be walking up to people, bro, asking them for money. It's your nation. It's your belief system. You do it. But let me tell you what is going to happen. When people see you doing the nation thing, if you do it in a nation way, like you were saying, drilling, man, I had the babies drilling. The little football team drilling, I got them doing their thing. It makes it easier for people to help you. So keep in mind, this is not really a religious movement. It's a cultural revolution based on us returning back to the proper knowledge of ourselves. Now, that means that, hey, quit talking about it in a way that, listen, man, take your people, do the program, and people will help the program. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm helping the youth. I'm gonna help y'all with the youth, but it's not attractive, bro, if you're not rounding third base with your own idea. All that, hey man, if you give me some money, I'm gonna do this. I got a great idea. Oh yeah? Well, line forms here for 3, 5, 10, 15 miles for everybody with an idea who all they want is some funding for the idea.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You feel me? But funding, but you funding your own idea is the qualification that it's a solid idea.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand? Person
Yes.
come and look, say, what's this? Oh yeah, this the Nation Youth Program, bro. You know, we playing football, we doing this, we got some tutoring, we doing our thing. I mean, how much money y'all getting? We spending money over here. We making money doing other things and putting it over here. And then little by little, when we first started, then Big Boy, my partner, he looked and said, man, y'all doing that. I'm hearing about it. He heard it from the street. I didn't approach him about it. I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then,
sir.
oh man, now this the minister's friend. He's not my friend in terms of I didn't meet him. Muhammad introduced me to him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and that makes a difference in how you carry these relationships. So boom, Muhammad introduced me. Yeah, I didn't not. If I knocked him on my own, I could carry that how I want to. But I didn't knock him on my own. I met him through Muhammad. So when he said, man, I want to help the youth, that's when first I said, man, when people see us do it, that's why having a school is important in your city. So the people can help it. They might not want to help, bro. I'm a Christian. I'm helping my church. I might just want to give you money for your mosque. You give your own money for your mosque.
Yes,
But the church ain't gonna do all the things that the nation does. So just do those things, and people can support those programs. And so he was like, hey, let me I want to help out. I was like, no, I'm cool, bro. Everything is straight. But I need to holler at this guy. He gonna be in town. And my brother would introduce us, and then I would get help. You know what I'm saying? But
yes,
but the little help that Allah blessed me to get, I never desired help that would nobody ever put more into that than we put into it. You understand? This is our program. And sure, yeah, some friends did help along the way, but not nothing I couldn't give you right back right now. Today, I could give people back what they helped us with. I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm just trying to say that we never leveraged the burden of the program on others. You understand? Because it was very important to say that, no, this is us. We did this. We know for a fact now that in any city, if you're committed, you can do it for yourself. And that'll naturally bring help. Like the minister said, really, I wouldn't even think about it like that, but like that, you know how he started rebuilding? He said, I didn't ask you for nothing for a long time because I'm validating the get down for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we need to remember that in the cities, that's a very important thing. It's not something people talk about. It's something that they perceive and feel on the inside, and you'll be condemned for it if you don't do it right. You understand?
Yes, sir. Beautiful teaching. Okay. How did your parents feel about you accepting the teachings?
Well, I lost my father before I accepted the teachings, but he is a part. He installed things in me for the teachings. That was a part of his job. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a certain way that he wired me that is for this. My mother went through ups and downs. Initially, she was really with it, but I'm a zealot. And as the further and further I went, then it caused resentment. Then we but keep in mind, me and my mother, may Allah be pleased with her, she's gone now, but my mother and I, A1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I didn't know what I was doing, I argued with her over Islam, and I condemned her for being a Christian because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand how to process the change I was making, and I didn't know how to do all of that. So we went through ups and downs to answer the question. But at the end of the day, I know that she respected it, and she loved me to death regardless. But I know for a fact that she respected it because I came in her house one day and she didn't know I was in there, and I heard her reciting the teachings to one of her friends. So that's the bottom line. She said, baby, them Muslims, I'll tell you one thing about them. They smart and they have a whole nother take on this religion and politics. And this is this. And, you know, I am from Tulsa. Shit, integration was the worst thing that happened to us. We had our own everything. So I walked in and I said, Mama, what you talking about? She said, oh, shit. I caught you, Mama. I caught you side swiping the teachings. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so she was with it. It's just that when you don't do it right, it creates unnecessary pain, you know. And when I was over the processing class here in LA, I told the students, I said, do not argue with your family over Islam. You're making a mistake. If you find yourself in an argument, stop. You stop, because you're going about it wrong. Islam brings about understanding. And if you're arguing with your family, you're just doing too much too fast. And you got to realize that you're tripping because y'all was something together already. I was a Christian. I'm the one changing. They being what they were the whole time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you know what I'm saying? So you're the one changing. So be careful with us. You know what I mean? Give us a chance to understand the changes you are making. That way we can try to preserve families. Then ultimately we need to help go after the families. You know what I mean? And Sister Valerie tried. My mama came to the mosque. Hey, shout out to Sister Valerie. I appreciate you so much for calling my mama. My mama said, tell Sister Valerie to stop calling me. Because she accepted. You know how we do acceptance?
Yes, sir.
My mama came to the mosque with me. You know, she came to the mosque all the time, but she came to the mosque and she went down there for acceptance. They, you know, when she raised her hand to learn more, and you know, the Muslims, once she do that, Muslims came to get her.
Yeah.
And Sister Valerie was on it for me, you know, trying to help Brother Steve's mom come in. But yeah, she, you know, so my mom was straight.
Praise be to Allah. What was it like for you meeting the Most High Mrs. Farrakhan for the first time?
Oh wow. Yeah, that was strong. It was we were in LA and I was a part of a group, but I really wasn't a part of the group. I've been working and I looked and I was like, matter of fact, Captain Oliver was up there. Zone was up there, was at the hotel. And so I was on that floor with him. And then, you know, we was like, yeah, man, I'm about to go see the minister or whatever. And then they tried to, I don't know if it might've been my partner, Sultan. And Sultan was kind of like trying to close the door out. Nah, bro, no, sir. No, sir. I pound this thing. So, you know what I'm saying? So came in and the minister was really giving information to inspiration rather to some street cats. Tank was there. Tank had kind of organized this particular group. Tank had organized, I'm sorry, Brother Duran had organized that. Okay. And he was just giving them insight about how to really straighten up, try to help the community reshape itself and how to stay alive, you know. And it was just to be in his presence at that time was it was like I kind of was numb during that. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a numbness in how, you know, how my body was reacting to being with him. You know what I mean? Yes, sir, yes, sir. And so I was just looking at him and I was listening to his words and I was just in awe at the moment. You know what I mean? And then we got a chance to take a picture together, you know, and it was cool. And then we saw each other again. Now I had a chance when we did the big interview, I had a chance to chop it up with him in. You know, had a chance to talk, you know, to talk to the minister and whatnot. And I remember we get into that. But anyway, yeah, it was a blessing, no doubt.
Beautiful. Well, when did you go from seeing the Most Honorable Mr. Farrakhan as maybe an activist or a speaker to someone who was in fact divinely guided?
I never had a intermediate part. You know what I'm saying? I never saw him regular. We didn't go into like how I got into the nation or how the nation, you know, is in my life or how it infected my soul. But I knew about the nation since I was like 7 years old. My parents had Message to the Black. We had what's called the Black encyclopedias. It's like these 3 encyclopedias that's old school. Like it's the Black encyclopedia. So we had those. Then we had Message to the Black Man. We had Roots. And as a baby, I used to stare at Message to the Black Man. I just thought it was hard. I don't know if it was the black and the red, but I remember the message to the black men was just hard. And I would ask about it all the way back then. So I knew about the nation all my life, but I didn't know the minister. So I knew about the Nation of Islam, Mass Farad Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, my whole life. And then when I was in college, my line brother, dude that I pledged Omega Psi Phi with, he said, hey man, you got to check this dude out. I was like, check who out? Now we up in San Luis Obispo, right? In California, Cal Poly. And he like, hey, put the tape in, right? And so I'm listening. Oh, it's on. This Farrakhan at the Final Call building. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is the Nation of Islam. He wasn't calling it that. He was just talking about, you got to hear this dude named Farrakhan. So, but I know the Nation of Islam. So boom, when he put it, I was like, this is the Nation of Islam. Bro, I said, come on, dog. You know, we cute dogs. I said, hey, dog, come on, ride with me down to LA. Bro, that's like 3-something hours. So he gets in the car with me. I'm going to the mosque on 45th and Western. And boom, I hit the mosque. I want to get tapes, right? So back then they were renting tapes at the mosque. So boom, I go to the mosque, and guess who's working the bookstore? Sister Halima, Captain Halim's wife. He was working the bookstore at that time. So I went in there and I'm trying to rent tapes, whatnot, and drive right back to school. And so I'm talking to her, and she said the messenger, one of the things that had me fired up then, she said the messenger said his best followers are still in the street. And I like that. That was inspiring. You feel me? Because at that time that included me. You know what I'm saying? So boom. Yes, sir. So boom. So we drove. He was like, hey man, we drove all the way down just to get some tapes. I'm like, yeah. And that was when I knew how to make my way. But when I was like 9 years old, brother Abdul Rab. Are you familiar with old school Abdul Rab, brother Billy?
I interviewed him.
Yeah, easy call. Okay, so Abdul, so you know the get down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so Abdul, so look, Abdul Rab's wife is my mother's friend. So she came to the house one day, bro. I'm little, and she looked at me. She said, "You're gonna be a minister. You join the nation. You make sure you go to the nation." I was little. I was like, wow. But I knew she did not know that I knew what she was referring to, because I've been staring at this book, The Message to the Black Man. So I'm like, but it was spooky too. You know what I'm saying? She was in my living room. It kind of spooked me. I was like, what? And I was like, I get it, but I was kind of weird to just say that out the blue. So I'm walking up this street called Stocker. Back then, the mosque was a fabulous mosque, bro, on Stocker and Crenshaw. It had the moon and star on the top twirling around. It was huge. It had these big billboards of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was amazing. That was Khalid and them. Khalid, Wali, Nuri, Halim, Malik, all of the old school soldiers from LA. That was the first thing that they established, you know what I'm saying, to say that the nation is back after the rebuilding.
Yes, sir.
So I'm walking up the street, bro, and a car came zooming down the street. And then another car, a Cadillac packed with Muslims, pulled up and said, hey, be careful, little brother. There's fools running around in the street, but we gonna get them. And he looked at me, and I knew. I said, oh, I like them. They're them the brothers. And then when I walked up to Stocker, because I was going to the mall, when I walked up there, the same brothers, I guess they was done chasing them around, and they pulled the Cadillac up in front of the mosque, which had the carpet from the street into the, going into the mosque, and they were standing out there. So as I walked by, I just kept looking at them. I was like, yeah, that's them. That's them from the book. I knew that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's them from Message to the Black Man. Yeah, I like that. And the way he said, hey, little brother, be careful. You know what I'm saying? I knew that was it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's the gang right there. You know what I mean? And so it had already been, and it was a whole bunch of other little messages that came to me, man, from a dope thing, just all kind of little stuff that happened. But I was always on point with it. And then as a teenager, when I talked about the nation, people would say negative things. And I wasn't cross-examining, I wasn't verifying nothing. I didn't care. Things that people say normally make a person say, oh, for real? Oh, I remember thinking, so?
Yes, sir.
I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And and I said other things, you know what I'm saying? So it was always in my system, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was always a part of what I was gonna do. So when my line brother came with me down here to get the tapes, and we met, and I met who at that time was Sister Halima. When I got back up there, one of the other brothers that was older than me in the fraternity, he said, hey man, he saw the tapes. He's like, hey man, that's the Nation of Islam. I was like, yeah. He's like, one of the founders of this chapter is down there in LA. I was like, is that right? Who? He said, Michael Ramo. You up on Michael Ramo?
No, sir.
Yeah, you ain't up on Michael Ramo. That's Halim.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Halim. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, yeah, man, Michael Ramo is down there. I was like, is that right? I came right back down. That's when, and at that time, Ave was the minister.
Okay, yes, sir.
I came down, and in the middle of the street, when I pulled up, no, there's a little time between this because the mosque had moved We had an earthquake that we talked about. Remember we talked about the earthquakes the other day? We had one, and the mosque was inhabitable. The mosque on 45th and Western. So we moved up to use a St. Bridget Catholic Church. So that's where we were having meetings at that time. And so when I pulled up, there was a brother in the middle of the street directing traffic or trying to do something or whatever, and it was Halim. So I parked my car and I got out and I walked up to him. I said, "You know where Michael Ramo is?" He's like, "Michael Ramo?" So I'm Halim Muhammad. That's me. And then I introduced him, let him know I was his fraternity brother, whatever, from the same school and all of that. And then, we started. And that's where I first filled out my form, was under IV. But I wasn't ready though. I was moving around. You know what I'm saying? I was traveling and whatnot. But yeah. So I never saw, I always had a purpose where the nation was concerned. I always saw it their way, even before I was in it. You know what I mean? I always understood it. I always got the final call. I always gave away my money when I saw them, because I understood that if we did what they were doing, that the community would be better.
Beautiful. Okay. And thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. You have a lot of comments, and thank you all. My next question for you is, what made you choose to pledge Omega Psi Phi and not any of the other fraternities?
Knock it off. First of all, bro, Q's is college Crips. Let me keep that 100. Now the next thing is, I'm really not like a fraternity guy per se. My father was a Q, so I was with it like that. But then when I got to school, that represented my type of personality. And then and that personality is the personality. If you, not to say that only Qs or whatever, but of fraternities, the religious personality is the Nation of Islam. That's why you see so many of us as great helpers, historically. Khalid, Minister Malik, Halim, and other keys, Brother Jeff. It's like we just all over the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying?
I'm familiar.
Because that's that type of expression and manhood and willingness to go against the grain. You know what I mean? All of that is a part of that. If where fraternities are concerned, and so there's no other fraternity that. And also, I'm not Greek, so I don't even play the Greek game. all the other ones kind of play the Greek game.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Wonderful. Well, I have just a few more questions for you, but I got to shout out all my sponsors from this month's podcast, and people who have sent me the questions. Cash App, the $, the People's Podcast. For everybody who would like to continue to support, I'm greatly, I'm grateful. Without you all, can I do this? 1 second. Here we go. Boom,
yes, sir.
And here we go. So we're starting with my brother Rashad and his business partner Jamal, Street Premier Media Production. They have a 4K camera and a drone. They do television, and they're working on a movie, and they're working on a lot of music video sets right now. But shout out to the Street Premier. If you need something, go support them. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, both of which are on Amazon. Make sure you please support my sister Miriam. Stay on Point Dance Academy. My other sister Naima Muhammad, Stay on Point Dance Academy LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young children all across the country, and now she's doing it in person with the COVID practices at the studio. Supreme Men's Fashion out of St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you very much to our brother who's always sponsoring. If you need some clothes to keep you dripping, reach out to our brother in St. Louis. Raising Black Millionaires. Sister Tia Muhammad has business cards for like children to teach economic and empowerment development to young Black children. Thank you, Sister Tia Muhammad. Also, Brother Kenneth Muhammad, Bowtie Maker Extraordinaire. I'm coming right back to you, Brother Stephen.
Yes, sir.
And Exodus, A New Way of Life, Credit Restoration. If you need your credit done, reach out to them. Khalid's Boutique. They always come through in the clutch with custom shirts. If you need a custom shirt done, please reach out to Khalid's Boutique. Brother Chantel X, the X and Express. They hire truck drivers and they ship all across the country as well. Thank you very much. Brother Jabbar Muhammad out of Chicago, Illinois, painting, carpentry, flooring, and plumbing, etc. Thank you very much for your support. Brother Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you very much, Dr. Henry. Brother Rashad Muhammad in Chicago, Illinois, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services. If you need something done in Chicago, make sure you reach out. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. Thank you very much, Dad. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, which is on Amazon, and No Father, No Excuse. which is on Amazon as well. Thank you very much. Cash App the People's Podcast to help us keep going. Back to you, Brother Stephen.
Yes, sir.
Stephen, now you're an Omega man, right? You pledged in college, you came FOY strong, Nation Titan, but you in Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Like the murder capital of the West Coast and all of this, gangs, everything. Has there ever been a time where you were faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
I mean, yeah, I've been in, tight spots, where I was worried about, making sure I didn't lose my life. But primarily, that's really not my business. So whenever I found myself in that situation, it was by affiliation, not by my direct actions. And the main thing, like I said, I was raised by a man that, he gave me game. I've been walking and doing my own thing. He put me on a plane by myself at 5. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I'm aware, I can see what it is, and I know when I have to get involved. I know when I can go on about my business. So that's not really like a story of escaping death and getting almost killed is not something that's riddled through my story. You know what I mean? But I've definitely just in, my younger days when I was partying a lot and all of that. Yeah, I've been in those type of situations where there was gunplay and gunfire and all of that, but not because of me. I don't have a criminal background.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. What has been your greatest trial in your tenure in the nation, and how have you overcome that?
My greatest trial has been trying to take what Allah has given me that goes with the program. Again, I'm not talking about when you're making up an agenda of your own, or making up some plan of your own. I'm talking about every one of us that's called to, if Allah called you here, then you're here to perform a function. And that function under this structure is coordinated by laborers and whatever. And so taking ideas and expressing ideas that are intended to bring a great return back to Islam is something that you're going to have to, number one, you're going to learn how to do it in terms of cooperation by trying to say, hey, listen, do you think we should do this? You know what I mean? Hey, listen, what about this? And you're trying to validate ideas and trying to confirm thoughts that you have. And in doing that, because in my mind, the way my mind works, the best picture is that we all did it together. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir,
it's that, hey, my minister was involved and my captain was involved and the brothers and sisters, we did it together. You know what I mean? But if that doesn't happen, then what I've learned is that when Allah tell me something, that's why I'm confirming, bro. I'm not talking about nothing weird. I ain't talking about weirdos. I'm talking about actual agendas that are listed as the nation program, self-reliance, independence, and all of the things that go, the tangential things that go with that. So whenever that's been my trial, is that to figure out how to move without the ball, so to speak. So the minister has the ball, your local minister has the ball, and that's fine. But no one man can do all of this. And the best city is going to be the city where the minister accepts that and then activates us all. Because no matter what you want to say about the minister, meaning Minister Farrakhan, one of the things, if you hear people talk about how fine they are of him or how much respect they have for him, one of the things they never say is he didn't have 8 mosques of his own. Do you think he was jumping on the rostrum over here, then running and opening up the meeting over here, then running over? You think he operated 5 schools? He was the principal, the teacher, the dean at 5 of the schools in New York. Do you think he was the one flipping the burgers at all the steak and takes? They had 14 steak and takes. Whatever how we talk about the empire in New York.
Yes,
but
sir.
the thing is, what he does is he knows how to let you do your thing. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And still feel like you're a part of it. You know what I mean? Like that's the job, that's the department that has to develop in order to bring back us to bring us a return. So dealing with that, dealing with that in terms of how you feel if it's not the way you wanted to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have to go it alone, then you have to go it alone. And that is in the history. So that's not really condemning necessarily a minister, because it's in the history. It was times when people that was Muslims had to go back to jail because they escaped, but they couldn't escape now because Muhammad entered into an agreement where you couldn't escape.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got to go back, bro. That's heartbreaking. I can imagine, right?
Yes, sir.
It's heartbreaking. But when it comes to heartbreak, like Halim told me today, he said, take a number. Yeah, take a number on heartbreak. The revolution is heartbreaking, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to be a soldier first. So it's a lot going on. A lot of things could be better. We can't hide that fact, though. You know what I'm saying? We can't play games with each other, pretending like it couldn't be better.
Absolutely.
Hold on, bro. We can improve this thing because you got to understand who told us to do it. Master Muhammad told us to do it. So if that's the case, and then we follow the message of the minister, then that means everything should be A1. It don't mean it always will be, but that should be the quest. And once you exhaust your ideas and it's not A1, then you got to look around and say, hey, Josh, how can we make this A1? I thought I had it, and that's fine. What can we do now? Because there's certain things that you do need to ask me about. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Not about everything, but it's certain things that if I'm on the team, well, then you need to ask Brother Steve about that. I do have knowledge of that, or I have know-how and experience of that, and I really know how to finesse that situation. You know what I mean? And we're all needed to do it. That's the only thing. I think that we could be moving at a faster pace by incorporating more of the believers' intellectual capabilities. That makes sense?
Absolutely it does.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Without it being at odds. You know what I'm saying? Why are they putting us at odds? Why does my ideas and success? What was it? Why is that putting us at odds? For what? When it's together, you know what I'm saying? When it's intended to be together, bro. When we went into business, bro, we paid the mosque rent, bro, for 2 years. Mosque rent, school rent, teacher salary, bro. I did it because I heard the minister did that before. You feel me? Trying to help us boost. So it's not an adversarial thing. It's not about now. If you adversarial, bro, then no, sir. Like the minister said the other night, hey man, it got to be within the structure. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You feel me? So that's the only thing. But I'm not upset about or sad about it because I'm determined to change that part. We have to free the believer to do what Allah told him to come and do, and you can't funnel all of that. You feel me? You can't push that into a narrow funnel. You have to expand the breadth and capability of the mosque to do that, and or the program, because it ain't even just a mosque thing, it's a program thing. You know what I mean? And nobody is unilaterally doing that. You think the president is telling Raytheon to study the microchip? Nah. You think there's somebody telling Elon Musk to figure out how to make a car that you never have to worry about it? Nah, he's doing that on his own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the government can call him into service as a patriot. Yes, and that's what the believers are. You know what I'm saying? The proletariat of the nation, bro, the workers, the ones who know how to do things. That's ultimately where we have to go in order to make it a reality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Reading the nation's program. Do you believe it? Can it be made real? Well, then, okay. And that's a whole different thing from talking about it. And over talking it creates a whole nother thing. But we got to get into that because it's something that we're dealing with. People end up thinking you don't got to do nothing or that you did it because talking satisfies the mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You teach it. Yes, sir.
You know, so that's the only thing, but we can change it though. Free the Muslims though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Brother Stephen, are you going to go like the woman, the sister told you into the ministry? Are you going to go into the ministry?
I can't do no talking, like not talking like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if a person is gonna talk, then somebody has to go get things done. Otherwise, it disappoints the people because the minute people can see, did you ever see The Wiz, bro?
Of course.
Did you see what happened when the people saw Richard Pryor back there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bro. So the dynamic of the nation, the mystique of the nation. God came in person. Oh, bro. Okay, fine. You could talk. That's fine because talkers are not the leaders of communities in no nation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Any group that's over us, the rabbi is not running that. He's in charge of the spiritual part, but the thing that puts them on top is all these business people, all these other forgers that are making things happen. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing with all the sectors of life. You know what I'm saying? And controlling the realities of life. So that's where we have to go. All we got to do is take care of the minister. Take care of him. That's the minister and your local one are here. but the minister got to be on board too. Not the minister, you know, I'm talking about when in your local realities, he got to be on board with the plans to make progress. That's where we're gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Without that, bro, how the beautiful thing when a car is on flats is that we can't argue about changing the tires, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can't. You feel me? And it's not a big deal. Because remember, if we in this, then yeah, we might not be A1 today, but we could be A1 tomorrow. It ain't a problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We already know how to operate with sleep deprivation. We know how to go without food. We know how to do all kinds of things that make you a winner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have to strategize and say, okay, well, look, this is what's going on. And we have the temperament for that. Any minister in any city, any captain, you can come to the Muslims. That's how beautiful the followers are and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is what we need. This is what we got to achieve. We need everybody's input. You got to start asking for that. Feel me? You got to start asking, what do we already know? You know what I mean? So that we can actually do something that gratifies the lives of the people who came to sacrifice.
Yes, sir. Well, you said, bro. But you sound a lot like somebody who I've known my whole life. You know, because he gonna say, "Go get it. You gotta go do it. Whatever you want, Josh. Go make it happen." I'm like, yeah, I get it.
And you do. You really got. You gotta. You know, what I'm saying, you gotta make it happen, man. You know, but that's an attribute as well. That make it happen thing. See, that's that vague talk. I grew up on that vague talk. You feel me? My father not about to do. My father gonna fire on you, bro. If you make him say every single syllable of it all, you feel me? That's too much. You know what I'm saying? It's too much, bro. I already gave you the game on that. You know what I'm saying? It's this, this, and this, and that's it. You don't know what I'm talking about? Okay, well, that's gonna lead to something else. You know what I mean? but look, it fits the nation perfectly because when you read the teachers, you don't know what that means. I got a knack for knowing what it means. The minister says, "Oh, I get it. I know what you mean by that."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know what you're saying when you say that. Even though he has to say it in a broad way because he's talking to a whole group where circumstances are different. You know, the same Jesus thing, the parable thing, where you got to say something that just universally fits, but everybody has to take it and say, "Oh no, this is actually how you implement it here. This is how we can carry it into practice." That's very important, bro. Business, outreach, the way we look at our structure and how we're gonna figure out, well, look, which way are we gonna do? How are we gonna go about the burdens to where they're managed properly? So when you look at the structure, you say, oh yeah, we manage all of our responsibilities very well. The efficacy of it is intact. And you say, okay, good. Now we have that figured out. You know what I mean? The paper, everything. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Everything figured out and run in the way it should run so that we could elevate. And we got to believe that. You know what I'm saying? We got to believe that we could do that.
Praise be to Allah. Well,
Yes,
Brother Stephen, besides giving us the great FOI class type inspiration that you just gave me today, because I'm about to call some of the homies and be like, we got some work to do. Coach Stephen, they gave us some work to do. I got some stuff. But what do you do for fun?
Man, I deal with the youth a lot. You know, the one thing I found out is, boy, you ain't gonna talk me away from the youth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ain't gonna talk me into confining myself with no Muslims at all. Boy, I ain't about to be arguing with no Muslims. I'm about to talk to some children that never heard the truth, and then I can lace them, you know what I'm saying, and get to it. But my main thing is, bro, my sons, I'm wrenching on them, I'm analyzing fatherhood all the time, managing Able Solutions, our business, you know what I'm saying? Because that is an operation that requires attention. I'm constantly trying to make sure with Allah's help and security that they won't be able to sink our ship. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Make sure that we have longevity. And basically, that's really it, man. I'm really consumed with planning and trying to set up a structure that changes everything when I'm gone, you know? And that it leaves little room to kind of kick it. Like, I don't go to Dubai and hang out. I don't go on vacations and chill. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just really dealing with people and dealing with circumstances, you know what I mean? And trying to expand the breadth of property management operation, security operation, and consultation.
Big business. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that's kind of what, you know, that's kind of really, I'm really like in that chilling is chopping up with my children and the 4 block guys. That's the people on my block, all the little babies around here. And you know what I mean?
Praise be to Allah.
Yeah. And, you know, I'll catch a game or two, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do that too.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Brother Stevie, if you could choose one album that you would say like is your favorite album of all time, what album would that be?
One album. I might have to go with the Chronic.
The Chronic.
Take the Chronic with me, bro.
That's a classic.
If you say one,
That's
yeah, like, you know, if I just say one, but you know what? Machiavelli was cold too. But anyway, I'll rock with the Chronic. I'll take the Chronic.
Okay,
But
yes,
Machiavelli, yeah, one of them. I'm gonna grab one of them going out the door. You know what I mean?
okay, for sure. And those are 2 good ones. I was leaning more toward Chronic 2001, but it's an age thing. But yeah, but Chronic for sure. Chronic. Yes, sir.
Oh, you gonna TI me, huh? Really? You gonna TI me, huh?
No. No. I'm just saying,
I
didn't live through the Chronic. 2001. That was
no, ain't no question.
like, yeah. I was like, all right.
Easy call.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say, will you ever write a book about your personal life?
No, I don't think enough of me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I know that I have some wisdom to share in terms of my personal experiences, but I definitely I'll concentrate on trying to live in a way where if somebody think that of me, they'll write it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that's not a knock to anybody. I'm just saying me personally, like, you know, I ain't that hell of a, I mean, I'm trying. I got enough sense to try. You know what I mean? Just trying to put it together. But I've never thought about doing that. I do think about sharing like my experiences though. You know what I mean? But I do that now just dealing with people.
Yes, sir.
You know?
What advice, we got to ask, what advice would you give to future husbands?
Well, you know what? In the, honestly, yeah, because we ain't talk about that. Oh, yeah. See, honestly, I think like our courtship, A1. I do that. I've done that. And I think we need a little more hands-on. What a husband has to do, number one, what we already teaching is the truth. Bro, at the end of the day, you need to handle your business, okay? That's at the root of it, all right? Don't be sleeping. Don't lay around. If you don't have vision, you have to slam your head on the ground and beg Allah to bless you with vision, because that's what's going to drive the family. That's a part of the vibe that you're going to give off to your wife or your woman, whatever, that's going to make her cling to you, is the fact that he has vision. It doesn't even matter whether or not he's accomplished it yet, because the vision is in the beginning of it. So if you don't have that or you don't understand that, you got to study that. You got to accept your responsibility. You got to define yourself. Are you willing to say that, yeah, you could put it all on me? That's a legitimate question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Most of us didn't grow up. I grew up with a working mama. You know what I mean? I grew up, my mama worked hard. So you gotta, the FOI you gotta, hey bro, have you accepted that the burden is on you? That the patches are on your shoulder?
Yes, sir. Yes,
you gotta confirm that first. You know what I mean? And so, well, yeah, I have, okay, well, if you've accepted that, then let's move forward to vision. Let's move forward to just your spirit and your interaction with a woman. That's very important. How are you managing a woman? Do you understand that? Do you understand women? Do you understand how women go in terms of the sentimentality of them? You know what I'm saying? The moods and what causes women to feel a certain way, and understanding where some of the things might be coming from. And then if you with a woman, then the next thing is, bro, I mean, if you love her, bro, and she's your woman, then stay married. If you talk to if you talk to older people, now that's another thing too, though, bro. I spend a lot of time with older people. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of game from Minister Wazir. I mean, I logged hundreds and hundreds of hours with him. Captain Wali, hundreds and hundreds of hours. I had Wali and Salim staying at my joint. You know what I'm saying? Like may Allah be pleased with all of them. So I spent time gathering information. And that's what the brothers should do. Gather information, bro, about the institution. Gather information about what are the problems. Because when I was coming up, and I salute Captain Halim, Oliver, Minister Tony, all of them dudes, you know, we used to put pressure on you to find, you know, to qualify yourself to get married.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
And I appreciate that culture in the mosque because that's the truth. And but along with that is you have to, I was taught then that, bro, money gonna be a big part of the problem. And that's true if it is, but it ain't the big problem if that's not the problem. Other things become big problems if that's not the problem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes,
yeah,
sir.
So something else covers, if the money's not a problem, then something else covers down on that to be the problem. You know what I mean? Yes, but the number one thing is that when you set it up, you have to decide. If my wife and I are arguing, my wife is a Muslim. She born and raised, nation baby. Hey man, if she says that's not the teachings, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says this, that ends it over here. We don't argue past that. We have established a standard of right and wrong, and it's the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? If we're arguing and I say, hey, the minister, that's not what the minister said. The minister said this, the minister said that. Well then, boom, that ends it. Why y'all keep arguing unless it's not about the teachings? You know what I mean? If the teachings can't settle the argument, then y'all something else going on. You know what I mean? If the teachers can't settle the argument, then something else going on. Y'all not really on the teachings at that level. Like, nah, I'm arguing about my way I see this and the way he's, okay, well, that's different. But if you center yourself at the teachings, then that's always where we can kind of end this. You know what I'm saying? We can, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let's settle back on what the teachings have directed us to do. You know what I mean? Let's settle back on that. And you have to endure in marriage. Marriage is not what it is in first 45 years ain't the same that it is in the next 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Your marriage before children ain't the same as the marriage after children, especially if you overactive with the children. You know what I mean? Your marriage without business is not the same as your marriage with business. Oh yeah, when we met, we were struggling. When my wife and I got married, yeah, we were struggling. You know what I'm saying? I'm managing some apartments. You know what I'm saying? I was working a weird job and trying to put my dreams together. You know what I mean? I had visions though, but I had failed at a couple of things. And then the things didn't take the way I thought that they would. And I had to retool the idea and, you know what I'm saying? And reapproach everything. And so the way my attitude during times like that is not the same as the attitude when you peeling money and you doing other things and you juggling contracts, you flying around, going to handle business. You know, you might start to act a little hell of a trying to, you know, you might get a little tough. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so, well, dang, well, why are we having problems now? Well, yeah, his attitude changed. He's up a little higher than he was when we started. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of factors, but that's why the minister is important to help us sort through these things. You feel me? Your local minister is supposed to be wrenching on your marriages for you because, hey, you know, let's talk about what this is and let's explain, you know what I'm saying, how these experiences are affecting you. You know what I mean? And why she feels this way. Why does she feel that way? Why does he feel that way? And we got to be honest about what we want from each other. That's another thing too. Learn how to tell a person what you want. That's hard, bro. That sounds easy, but it's not.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
And it returns in the relationship to be a problem. Because even though you didn't know how to articulate it or you weren't comfortable saying it, you need to know. And we need to help train ourselves to become comfortable saying, listen, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And depending on how complicated the man is, that can get into a lot of nuances. I know it can for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, hey, bro, you know, I get complicated with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to really understand how to dance with me. You know what I mean? So all of that is a part. But one thing for sure for any fruit of Islam, any brother, is that if we accept being the fruit by definition, well, then you won't be the reason for a divorce. That's enough for a woman to hold on to. If she can look at you and say, well, regardless of however some personal things that I wish was a little different here and there, if you give her the diamond among men, then she wants you to be her husband.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So you just got to hold it and you got to be, you know, you got to really, really associate with married people too. You got to talk about marriage, bro. You got to really talk about it.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent, sir. But what would you like your legacy to be, Brother Stephen?
Um, I pray to Allah that He allows or blesses me with enough spirit and vision and ideas to make sure that my children never regress, and my family in the name Muhammad, my actual family name of this household, Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
that
Yes, sir.
it doesn't revert. That's very important to me, that when my life is over, that this thing that Allah blessed me to start on my end, you know, in terms of being a convert, moves us forward. And that whatever He allows me to build, that it's enough for my children to identify with, that they'll take it and advance it. Even if they end up changing it, that's fine. But at least they took material that was built for them in the spirit of self-reliance, nation building, self-determination, resistance to white supremacy, and even globally. They're free to do that with a plan. You know what I mean? To say, okay, good. Moving this, I was the beginning, by Allah's grace, I was the beginning of this. And it worked. It happened. You know what I mean? We emerged from slavery through the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan to establish this. That's very important. And for it to be big enough to include everybody, because everybody's not going to be everybody's not the visionary and all of that stuff. So that as we construct it, that there's satisfactory space for the intelligence of other brothers and sisters as well, to help us to accomplish the goal. Equity in it for them as well. So that's the goal, bro. That at the end of this is not just a church for me. That's a nightmare, that I messed around and turned this into church.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. And we get a lot of comments, and thank you all for watching the People's Podcast. A lot of people giving, compliment. I mean, in the comments, I'll come back after it's over. But Brother Stephen, I want to say you inspired me personally today. I know you inspired many others. I can't wait to put it on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. May Allah continue to bless you. Thank you, your wife, your children, for the sacrifice of your family. Thank you all very much to keep inspiring a nation. But I'm being selfish, inspiring me, because I learned who you were through social media.
Yes, sir.
I was like, oh, look at who's this coach was. And then when I found out who your brother-in-law was, I was like, oh, he's the homie on the drill team. Okay, Kareem. Okay.
Kareem.
Yeah, we all up there.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, praise be to Allah. Also, let me say this, man. I would be remiss, man, if I didn't say this, bro. And when I named the people that started this thing with me, man, Sister Dana, who is, man, she's a monster, bro, in terms of task mastering. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Organizing. And I'm talking about meticulous organization. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And she works real around you, like she's a real executive assistant. You know what I mean? She works for the school district. But when I called her about it, after my wife, I called her and I said, Sister Dana, Allah blessed me to invite her to the mosque, and she accepted the teachings. And when I called her, she came. And bro, while I was doing all that wrench work, bro, I mean, the way she organizes everything, the way she takes care of paperwork, anyway, not mentioning her would be viciously wrong. Yes, and I'd never hear the end of it if she saw this, but rightly so, though, by the way. Shout out to Sister Dana for being A1. I'm talking about, she had our paperwork so fire. She had all of our organization A1.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Brother Stephen, and thank you all for continuing to watch. And thank you all. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube to the People's Podcast. Brother Stephen, please keep up the great work, sir. You inspire me, sir. You inspire me.
A lot of People's Podcast. I appreciate you, Brother Josh. I appreciate you, bro. May Allah bless you, man, in all ways, man, to do everything righteous, bro. Yes, sir.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you all for watching.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.